It was one of the happiest day, but it was extremely sad what happened to them. I just pray that his daughters get back to normal and have a peaceful life. Welcome back to SYWK Podcast, where no topic is off limits. Firstly, I would like to thank you all for showing so much of love on my previous episode where my guest, author Kapdi, spoke about his book Scare Me If You Can. If you love reading Indian horror stories, you will definitely enjoy this episode. If you haven't heard it yet, please do. The link will be in my description. So coming back for today's episode, Psycho Dad locked up his 3 daughters and wife for 7 years. Can you imagine? This story, what I will be talking about in this episode, is something what happened in my town where I grew up, which is in Naigaon, West Mumbai, India. And trust me guys, I'm going to reveal a lot of undisclosed details in this episode, so listen till the end and let me know if I have missed anything by commenting below or DM me on Instagram. And also, if you guys enjoy the story, support me by liking, sharing and subscribing to my channel. It will help me get you such crazy and unheard stories. So now, without wasting a lot of time, let's get started. So today I'm going to talk about Francis Gomes, so called the Psycho Dad, and this happened in the year 2009. But before I tell you what actually happened, let me tell you how it all started. So this happened in the year 2002. Francis Gomes moved from Andheri to Nilambar Cooperating Housing Society in Naigaon West with his wife Teresa, daughters Elizabeth, Barbara and the third daughter whose name cannot be disclosed. However, there is something strange about the third daughter which will make you question a lot of things in the case. Anyways, I will be telling you about her at the end of the episode. So now let's get back to the others in the family. Initially, they looked like a normal family for everyone. I even remember noticing Francis Gomes every morning while I used to go to school, and even noticed his daughters for Sunday Mass service. But this was not for long. Suddenly his wife and their daughters went unnoticed for days, and these days turned into years. I wonder why the neighbors did not question Francis. Otherwise, Indian neighbors are always more interested in what's happening in other people's house. Francis, who had been unemployed for 15 years, was possessive with his daughters from the time they were born. But as they grew older, the possessiveness took on the edge of insanity. He stopped them from going out, convinced his wife that they would be raped. He would not even let them watch TV because he believed that they would be corrupted by the filmy love songs. The women were often denied food and fresh clothing. The windows were even kept shut, denying the sunlight, and by the end, the women were malnourished, weak, and looked unhealthy. It is said that his daughter Barbara would not keep her head straight, neither she could eat or drink properly because Francis hit her head so hard when she failed in her exam that it got dislocated. Can you imagine this? And she remained like that for God only knows how long. This is brutal. And earlier, when they were in school and college, he would personally escort them. Until one day he decided that he could not risk his daughters being seen outside and he decided to lock them up. When his wife tried to stop him, he even hit her and gave her a long lecture on how bad the world was. Often the woman would be locked up in the kitchen or the living room when Francis would leave home every morning. It was not clear where he would go since he was unemployed. It said he used to manage with the money he received from when he sold his Andheri flat. Gomes would often hit all of them till they bleed and then he would offer them first aid. All were in a bad condition, but finally, in the month of September 2009, the woman managed to establish contact with one of their neighbors and told them their condition. Then the neighbors got in touch with an NGO, and with the help of the local police, they rescued his wife and two daughters. Wondering what happened to the third daughter? Listen till the end to know the truth. Well, this was one side of the story, and it is said you need to know both the side of the story to know the actual truth. Firstly, soon after he got arrested, the court granted him bail. Wow. Indian government, lajawab. So now let me tell you what Francis Gomes had to say. I have been falsely implicated. My wife and daughters are mentally unstable, and I used to confine them inside the house only to protect them. I also take computer classes for a couple of kids at home. So the question of ill-treating my wife and daughters does not arise. In 2004, my elder daughter Elizabeth was kidnapped from Juhu Beach and was raped for 20 days by some unidentified men. That is why I try to keep my daughters away from strangers in order to save them. Can you imagine his words? This clearly states he's unstable, mental person. Meanwhile, his wife Teresa said the man requires immediate medical attention as he is suffering from a serious mental disorder. When his wife was rescued, she said only one thing: take us away. This is really sad. Can you imagine what the horror they had to face for so many years? And he claims that he is innocent. What do you feel? Let me know in the comments below. However, the women were finally shifted to an undisclosed Pune shelter home after they were treated in Mumbai for a while. It was one of the happiest days, but it was extremely sad what happened to them. I just pray that his daughters get back to normal and have a peaceful life. I don't know if I can say if this is a good news or bad news, but Francis Gomes passed away in 2010. His decomposed body was found at his rental flat. His daughters did not attend his funeral, and sadly the same year his wife Teresa passed away in a Pune shelter home. This is sad, and may her soul rest in peace. And the last what I know is that his daughters, Elizabeth and Barbara, are safe and recovering at a shelter home in Pune. So now coming back to the third daughter. She was rescued by an NGO 3 months earlier than the rest of them. After getting to know this, a lot of questions came in my mind. Why she did not rescue the rest? What was the cops doing? What was the NGO doing? But after getting to know the real truth, hats off to what she did to save her family. So basically, one of the social activists who worked for an NGO got to know from the local church that there seemed to be a medical problem at the Gomes residence. So when the team from the NGO group broke into their house, they found Elizabeth with her hands tied behind her back, wearing clothes that were unwashed for months. And Barbara was sitting with her neck bent. And the third daughter sat with her feet swollen. She was the one who spoke, and she told everything what her father did. Same afternoon when Francis returned, the team requested him to take all 3 of them to a hospital. In a span of 2 days, he admitted the third daughter and Barbara to a local hospital. After a few days, when the third daughter got discharged, the NGO team member had a meeting with Francis and requested that his third daughter needs a change of place. But he got aggressive and began shouting. He said he knew how to take care of his daughters. The team somehow informed him that she was a major and she could decide for herself. But he did not listen to them and got all of them back home. The very next day, when Francis went out to get milk, the third daughter, with a lot of courage, somehow she escaped from that house and called the NGO for help. She was finally free from all the torture her father gave her. But the question still stands: why did it take so long to rescue the rest? I did a bit of research and asked a few people from the society, and I got to know that his wife and other two daughters were terrified by Francis, and he convinced them that if they would run away, he would track them down and harm them even more. In fact, when Francis got to know his third daughter was rescued, he immediately filed a kidnapping case against the NGO. But finally, after the third daughter requesting the cops and with the help of the NGO, they rescued the rest of them. Finally, it happened. But still, why did it take so long to rescue the rest? Overall, I don't blame anyone. I understand it might be difficult to do things at that time. But all I can say is that huge respect to the third daughter, who had the courage to speak up and fight against the wrong things even though it was her dad. Always remember, be brave enough to take action against the wrong things happening in your life. And we should pray and hope that all the three daughters get back to normal and have a peaceful life. So thank you everyone for listening, and let me know what are your thoughts on this episode. And if you like my work, please share the episode to everyone and keep them aware, because you never know what's happening at your next door. So thank you, peace out, Shabba khair, salam alaikum, bye bye, tata, Shabba khair. I don't know what to say. I'm fed up.